welcome to Clamp, the weekly podcast where we discuss all things related to creating, living, and making projects. I'm your host, Grant Alexander, and joining me as always is Adam Mackey and Jessy Ratfink. And today, we're going to be talking about a little bit about hoarding. And if you know what hoarding is, it's because you had the Learning Channel, or TLC, and you watch Hoarders. But we want to talk a little bit more a lower scale hoarding that we all tend to do as makers. And, it's something that I know I have a problem with because I constantly go out and trip over stuff. Like, I just got too much materials, too much stuff. And I always go, I should just stop getting stuff. And then I go to the store and buy more stuff. But, wanted to, talk a little bit about that. So, Jessy, why don't you take it away?
So, I wanted to talk about this just because I have met so many creative people that hoard the craziest things. I really wanted to know things that we have hoarded, things that we're currently hoarding, where we get those things. Like my friend Nicole, Penelope Bolnick on Instructables, is addicted to yard sales. I'm pretty sure she's always yard sailing. Like, there are just certain quirks that people have about certain tools or materials where they have to get it no matter what. And I find it really fascinating. I am not a person that hoards a lot. I mean, I like things to be very clean and neat, and everything has to have a place. So I just organize my hoarding and make it slightly prettier. And I hoard smaller things, I think, than most people, embroidery floss.
I have had a problem throughout my entire life of having collections and needing to finish collections and worrying about collecting every card from a particular year of hockey or whatever, or Magic or Marvel sets. I have a lot of collections, coins. I have I have every penny from the side, the time that they became small pennies in Canada. They used to be big, and then they became smaller. So I have every penny except for the one that's $300 because they only made 5 of them that year or something. I don't know exactly why, but penny became really expensive that year. So I have a problem with collections, and I have a problem with. I'll be honest, I have a problem with hoarding. Every time the race car gets in an accident and the wheel gets wrecked, I want to take it home. I've got 10 different wheels. I don't need any more wheels. And they're all different. I have a couple. I have 2 that are the same. I have 10 different wheels from the race car team that are all slightly damaged. So they're you could never put them on a car again. And I have no idea what to do with them.
That's what I was just going to ask. What do you do? The only thing I know that people do with tires is make planters out of them. You stack them 3 deep and then make a planter out of it. But
or a hose.
So that's tires.
That's
I'm doing wheels. So wheels, I've seen coffee tables. Yes.
Okay.
Tires are a little different. Yes, so tires, you can make swings and you can make some fun stuff too. But I don't take home the tires because I know that's a losing thing.
Yeah.
Not the thing you could actually do something with. You take home the part you can't do something with.
Well, no. So tires you have to pay to get rid of. Wheels they'll pay you for because they're made of aluminum.
That's
tires. Anyways, so the
that's
wheels
how you
are worth something.
Justify it to yourself, right?
I know that's the problem.
Sounds like you need a foundry.
Right. So if I had a foundry, I would definitely I could cut them up and do something with them. I did use one as a hose reel holder.
Yeah, it's in the back of your videos.
If you watch my old videos, you would have seen it in the background. I haven't actually put it back up since I've redid my garage. But that's just one of them. I've got lots and lots of wheels. So many wheels. And those are, I probably have 10 wheels. And I know if you listen to this podcast for a long time, you've heard about the wheels before. You've heard about the ridiculous nature of why do I keep them? I don't know why I keep them. I have a problem. Why do I do it? Because there is something to them. I know I can do something with them. One day I will.
That's always the catch, though, isn't it? It's that piece of wood that you won't throw away because you're going to need it one day. And so going on that, I was really bad. I would never throw away pieces of wood. I had so much scrap wood, it's not funny, and never used it. Every time I made something, I went and bought new wood.
Yep.
And then so one day I just got over it. I fully decluttered my shop. I threw so much wood out. I had a massive bonfire, burnt all the wood and everything. And the amount of times now that I'm like, damn it, if I just had that one piece of wood that I need right now.
Yep.
And it's so frustrating because all of this time where I'm saying I'm doing the wrong thing and I'm not. Well, I wasn't, because I need that wood now.
You would never have grabbed that wood. This is the thing. You would have just gone to the store anyways. You would have spent like 3 hours looking for that one perfect piece of wood.
Pretty much.
And that's my problem with if your scrap pile isn't organized to a point where you can find the wood in five seconds, burn it. Throw it out. Give it away to someone else. Do whatever you need to do. Get rid of it. Right? I have all of my wood in different piles based on species so that, like certain, even plywood, like offcuts. I've got like 8-foot long pieces of Baltic birch that are like, half inch by half inch. And I'm like, do I get rid of this? Do I save it forever? Like, I don't know. I could see this like becoming part of a pattern plywood. If I ever wanted to do some sort of pattern plywood, I'm like, this is the start of that. Am I ever going to do that? Who knows?
Well, I have some.
Everyone knows
some wood
I'm
that
not.
I keep.
But
it's just all the pine and all that I got rid of, all the 2x4s and all that sort of stuff. I've got some. I don't even know what it is, but I got these thin slats that I got once when I went to. So just down the road from us is like not a sawmill, but like a framing company, and they have like a massive pile of all their scraps that's just like free firewood. And I went there once and they had all these really nice like slats. They're like a really dark brown. I don't know what type of wood it is, but I don't want to throw it out because I've never seen that wood before. And I'm like, I might use it as like an accent on something one time or something. But other than that, I'm trying to throw everything out as I can.
So do you have like a size that you use to guide whether or not it's garbage or useful?
Not like specifically, but I mean, if it's a small offcut, I'm generally throwing it out now. But if it's bigger than like, I don't know, an A4 sheet, no, 2 A4 sheets long sort of size, then I'd probably keep it.
So I basically go,
depending on what it is,
2 feet, if it's 2 feet long and it's pine, it goes in the garbage.
Yeah.
Just because it's pine?
Like if it's pine, there's so much of it. It's
super
everywhere.
Affordable,
like a 2x, like an or an SPF, like a spruce pine or fir, like a 2x4 or 4x4, whatever it is, construction grade lumber, 2 feet long or shorter, garbage. Immediately, just garbage. Really? Like sometimes not even burn pile, just garbage. Nobody even wants to burn that garbage, right? But then if it's hardwood, I get into like 1 foot, right? Yeah. And if it's like exotic hardwood, then I'm like,
dust.
I got this 2-inch piece of purple heart. Like I got like a 1-inch piece of yellow heart that I've been keeping just in case. Right. And I used to keep all of my little tiny offcuts of walnut and oak and all that. And I just burned it all. Because I just went I have so many little bits, but I'll keep these like purple heart or like exotic woods because one day I might want to do some intarsia. And it's like those are like the little tiny pieces are like great for that.
Yeah.
This makes me happy that I don't do a lot of woodworking because for me, it's like fabric. Fabric is the thing where I'm always asking myself, do I save this little bit? Do I throw it away? And several years ago, when my Etsy store was really blowing up, I came to the conclusion that it needed to be 4 by 4 inches or up. Where it had to go. If it's just a little square, I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm never going to make a patchwork quilt with like all of the weird fabric I've collected over the years. They're all different. They're not going to sew up together well. It's not going to wash good. Like I'm just, I'm trying to always talk myself out of it when I start a new project because that's definitely the thing for me. That's just like, but could I do something?
I remember when Morley and I went on a camping trip and he made a spoon and I made like a little leather. It was like my first leather project. It was like a sheath for my knife. And at the end, he had like this, such a small piece. Like it must have been like 4 inches by 4 inches piece. And I asked him like, hey, can I have that scrap bit of leather? Because I had an idea for it. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I'm like, oh, thanks so much. And now I take pieces that are way bigger than that and put them right in the garbage after I'm done cutting. Right? Like, because now I have pieces of leather. They're just so big. Like, I couldn't even imagine there were so many little bits of leather in my drawer, and I just went, I'm never grabbing these. And every other project, there's a time that I go, oh, I just need this little bit to like do a test or something, and I've thrown them all in the garbage and collected the garbage and taken it away, right? Like that's the only reason why I think sometimes it's good to keep the little bits, is I want to do a dye test. Like I was just listening to Digitally Creative, and Ethan was on there with Vincent. They were talking about different types of dye for different types of leather. Apparently there's different dye for veg tan or chrome tan. And I don't know which one I have, but it was not working very well on the veg tan leather, and it just wasn't doing what I expected it to do. But I didn't like follow the directions to a T, so I thought it was my fault. But maybe I've actually just been using the wrong thing. But if I had some scrap leather, I could just use it on that.
Well, when you were talking about that, I realized I also keep scrap leather. I'm also sort of guilty about that. But it's just like, leather feels very like luxurious and important, and like I shouldn't waste any of it. I don't know. It's because that is newer to me. I mean, it's like the last decade that I've got into leatherworking. So I don't know. It just seems very precious. Leather to me is like the fancy fabric you buy to make something very specific, and then you're so scared to cut in the fabric that you'd never do anything. Like that's how leather feels to me sometimes.
That and I get that. So leather is, to me, it's really important. Leather's like, it was an animal gave its life for that, right? So that means a lot to me, and I wish, like, it's the same with like when you're hunting. If I don't hunt, but if I did, that whole animal's coming home with me. I'm not leaving half an animal out there, right?
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people like cut the good parts out and leave the rest of the animal, and like it's like,
I hate
no, you
when
need
people
to
do that.
Yeah, and it's like such a weird thing to do. But I guess it's like if you leave it out there, someone else, some scavenger will get it. As long as you don't leave it in a weird spot. I don't know. It's like a weird thing. But I just feel like
it's dangerous and not recommended. Let's just say that. Field dress that motherfucker and drag it out. That's what you've got to do. That's my hunting.
I just feel like if something's going to give its life, we should respect that. And I feel like leather is one of those things. Like, I'm going to eat the cow. I'm going to eat the hot dog. I'm going to eat every part of it, down to the hot dog, and I'm going to use the leather, right? Or the kangaroo. Depends. Do they have kangaroo hot dogs?
They have kangaroo sausages. I don't know about that.
Really?
Essentially a hot dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kangaroo meat's actually pretty popular over here.
I bet.
Even though it's one of our sacred animals. It's literally like sacred? On our, not sacred, but like it's on our coat of arms. An emu and a kangaroo.
Oh.
And we eat them.
Both of them?
I don't eat them. I don't think I don't know about emus, but.
Okay. Well, because you couldn't.
Kangaroo,
you guys lost that war, so.
Exactly right. That's right. So I've never really had things where like the only hobby I've had where I have a material just for that hobby is the paracord bracelets. Right. I don't do leatherworking or anything. And I would keep the smallest of scraps of paracord. I don't know why. In my head, I was like, oh yeah, I'll use it to make like little pull tags on bags or whatever, or what, but like literally like this, like, I don't know, 10 centimeter long piece of offcut paracord, and I'm keeping it. Like, why?
Yeah. So I started using all those pieces, but I actually have like an opposite problem with paracord. So I bring it with me camping, and I take the entire, like, what do they call them? A hank or something? Like the entire, like 100-foot long cord.
Yeah.
And I don't cut it. I do not cut it. It's never been cut. So like I have to do weird ways of like tying knots with the entire thing.
Yeah. I'm like that with rope. If I buy a new thing of rope and I use it to like tie something down on a trailer, I'm not cutting the rope. But I should cut the rope.
I'm the exact opposite.
You should.
I just go to town. I cut it into as many pieces as it needs to be. Like, I think it's just all of the years that I've embroidered and done like fiber working, like the tangling of a string will set me off. I can't handle it. I'm not fucking doing it when it's like that heavy. Like, so I always give up. I don't know. That for me is a deal breaker.
I remember talking with Ethan about the leatherworking. We were talking about like stitching, and like I will stitch with the longest piece, like longer than I can reach. I will have threads on like needles on both ends, and I cannot reach both ends of it, and I will stitch a super long stitch because I do not want to like do it again. I don't ever want to run out again because
that's the thing. It's the running out that worries me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is such a nightmare. When I teach people to embroider and sew, I tell them from your fingers to your elbow, no longer than that. Because when you start going longer than that, you start getting knots and shit starts going wild. And like,
but if you sew, like if you're sewing and you run out, and then you just get another piece and keep going, sort of thing, you're not really going to notice that, right?
I know.
Normally, no. Yeah.
No. Whereas, like, why is my focus?
Because you got autofocus on. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, yeah. So, but like paracord bracelets and that, like, you can't
just do that.
You can't really just add more on. You know, like you see that.
Yeah.
You can.
You can, but it's ugly.
But it's like, it's not as nice. Like splicing paracord is definitely a little harder.
You need to do it purposefully and make it like a feature in order to do it. Okay, we're going to edit this part out, and you're going to try and fix your focus. Turn the little focus knob.
That's so weird.
How do I make it so... Oh, that zoomed out.
Well, I don't know what the fuck you just did, but now you got a wide view. I like it.
Right, I'm leaving it.
Yeah, I've never seen that wide view. Do you see how wide of a fucking view I got?
That's insane. I always annoyed me how much of the screen I took up.
Yeah. I like this better because now the problem is... okay, and we can leave a little bit of this in. So Ethan was actually talking to Digitally Creative, like putting... I know you would. Putting, like, trying to crop stuff 9:16 is so problematic. And Vincent and Ethan were talking about, like, trying to make reels for a podcast is so hard because as soon as you, like, move just slightly, now you're out of frame. Right. And I saw, like, unless you're trying to do tracking with the, moving the camera as people move, but no one's actually watching. So why do we even care? I don't know.
Well, if you actually watch the reels, the latest ones I did, there's a couple where like I'm off center and I was like, you know what? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I could censor it, but no, fuck it. It's more generic that way.
No, thank you. Don't do it again.
I will.
I was going to talk to you about it. But anyways, I don't actually edit them. So I was like, I want to talk to him about it, but I won't.
Now you don't even have to add the subtitles anymore. So
yeah, I didn't. I stopped doing that. But thank you. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. One of the things that, talking about hoarding is a big thing has to do with, do you actually hoard stuff you need, or do you hoard stuff in hopes that you will complete a project that's really unlikely to happen, right? Like, so when I was in high school, and I still have this thing to this day, when I was in high school, I wanted to fly an RC plane, and I asked for my like birthday for RC plane stuff. I worked at the hobby store. I got a remote. I got all the shit. I got everything, servos, batteries, I still have everything, motors, all the stuff. That project has sat there for 20 years, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, at least 20, if not more than 20 years. I still have it. I still have all the materials, everything I need to do that project. Am I ever going to do it? Maybe.
It's like you should.
Well, why? Retire? I don't know. Literally, like
it's a hand-me-down now. Now it goes to your kids.
Right. But no, I have probably 50 plastic models that I bought that I want to make. And the last one that I decided to make was like 5 years ago now. I don't know. You'd have to go on my Instagram. I posted about it. And the last one I actually touched, I mailed to Vincent from Digitally Creative. It was Knight Rider. And I only bought Knight Rider because my friend had a 1984 Pontiac Firebird. And so Knight Rider was a very, they didn't have that particular car available as a model. So I was going to take Knight Rider and take all the Knight Rider shit out of it and replace it with stock looking stuff.
Yeah.
And make it look like his car. But I never did it. So I just sent it to Vincent. And, maybe Vincent one day will actually make that model. Maybe he won't. But it's not my problem anymore.
Do you have a 1977 Trans Am?
I don't. I have a 78. And it's actually a 1/8 scale. And it has working lights.
Cool. It's not the right car, but. So you know how Mr. Beast started on YouTube, right?
No.
Uh-oh.
So his original videos are like, I watched something million times, or like he counted to 1 million or something, like stupid videos like that. So next time you're on holidays, you need to lock yourself in a room and go, I spent 50 hours building 50 model cars. And that's your video.
Yeah. If I could do that, I would. But I physically don't think I could. And I think that's like, for the patrons, they've heard the pain episode. But I have a lot of pain in my hands and my back and stuff. I can't do the things I used to be able to do.
Yeah.
One day we're going to do another recording of the pain episode to talk about pain and how much it affects us. And if you want to hear that, reach out to us. Tell us you want to hear it. And we will record it. But I don't want to hoard a lot of pain. But I
pain episode would be good for the pain episode would be good for someone that's had an accident or something to be a guest.
There you go.
And I know someone.
I was actually thinking of someone. I was thinking of someone as well who's recently posted a lot about like how their like pain has stopped them from being able to make. But we could talk about that more on the after show. Oh no. Okay, go ahead.
No, I still have more to talk about hoarding here.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we're not done hoarding. I was trying to move back into hoarding.
On the topic that you were talking about, as far as hoarding stuff that is like useful that you actually use, or hoarding stuff for future projects. Okay, so when I used to work, reconnected. Okay, sorry. It told me I lost the connection for a second.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
So yeah, when I used to work in San Francisco and was actively making content, I hoarded so much random shit for future projects. Like pieces left over from other artists in residence projects and content creators projects, or just like we would go on a like employee shopping trip and I would buy a bunch of random shit because it looked interesting, or we would go like, I don't know, to thrift stores and I would do the same thing, just because at that point there was a much higher chance that I was doing something with it. And I used a lot of that stuff and turned out pretty good. But now I have a ton of embroidery floss, a ton of embroidery hoops, because I was making so much and selling so much, and that stopped. But I kept buying those things sometimes. So that is like my only struggle, I guess, really.
So do you ever think about just selling it?
Well, no, mostly because it's not worth much. Like I could sell it as a lot, but it would be very little.
Or donate it.
So, well, I'm going to get back into embroidery eventually. Like I just know it's going to happen.
That's what we all say.
No, but for this, like it's going to happen. I just,
you're going to get jiggy with it.
Not be a mess. Yeah, I need to get jiggy with it again, really bad, because it sucks not being jiggy with it in all the ways that you all might be imagining. Yeah.
So drawer 3 in my workbench is my parts for future projects drawer.
Oh wow!
So every time I buy, like if I get a stupid idea in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this thing. And then I go to Bunnings and then I buy all the little pieces that I need for it. They go in that drawer until I make that project. And half the time I just don't make the project.
I think I would need like garage number 2 is that. Like,
yeah, I was just about to say that is a really small area for future projects.
It actually is. It's actually not that bad. It used to be a lot worse, but I cleaned it out. But it's got stupid things in there too. Like there's a splitter for a hose in there, because my plan was when I build the barbecue or the frame around the barbecue to put a sink in. So I have a splitter so that I can go like to the hose and to the barbecue or to the sink.
Nice.
Not going to happen, but it's still in the drawer ready for it.
So when my old barbecue died, it had like a battery powered piezo or whatever they call it. Like you just press a button and it like sparks a lot to like the flame.
Yeah.
And I was like, this would be really cool to add to my forge, so I could just press a button and it lights the forge. I was like, this would be a cool like video or whatever. So I took that off 6 months ago, and I shocked myself with it once. But Other than that, I haven't
would
used
be
it.
good for
What?
a potato cannon.
Sure, I'm sure. There's a lot of things that it would be good for, and yeah, and that's why I picked it up. And I kept the battery in it so I could shock myself if I wanted to again. Because it only works
Potato
for like
cannon, no.
No, why not?
Oh my god. So they are now outlawed pretty much on Instructables and have been for several years.
Oh.
They're outlawed in Australia altogether.
Yeah, I mean, they explode. They explode in people's faces. So my knee-jerk reaction when I hear potato gun is, oh god, no. Because it's like the Lichtenberg burning. It's like, yeah, it might be great, it might be fun, but the risk to me is just way too high.
Interesting.
But
I don't know.
You can literally legally own a flamethrower.
Like a propane one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
Why not?
They're illegal.
Like the propane ones? Like for doing asphalt and stuff?
Yeah. Oh, no. Not like a blowtorch thing. Like a full-on flamethrower.
Not in America.
Yeah, they can.
No, they can't.
I've seen it on plenty of YouTube videos.
Nah, they're not real flamethrowers. But you can make one. I saw a reel the other day. So what you do is you take diesel and you run it through what are those things that pressure washer?
Pressure washer.
You put a propane torch on the end of the pressure washer, and now you have a flamethrower. It is a very simple flamethrower. Do not try it at home. It's not something I've hoarded though. So let's get back on topic. Unless Jessy has something she just had to say.
To wrap up our flamethrower discussion, I just Googled, and on Wikipedia, it says in the United States, flamethrowers are broadly legal for personal ownership and use. Yeah. California, you got to have a permit. Maryland has banned them. So there you go. We're crazy.
In 48 states, they're completely illegal.
I think the problem is, what is a flamethrower? Like a lot of things.
The ones I've seen look like a gun, but it's a full-on flamethrower.
Yeah, this is not talking about a torch. This is actual flame
shoots
that goes a significant
stream. Yes.
Have you not seen my video where I use a flamethrower?
Yeah, you've got a flamethrower.
No, my brother does, but
your brother does.
It's not a flamethrower. It's literally not a flamethrower. That's what it's called, and it's not.
Still illegal, whatever it is.
No, so if you were doing roofing. Like asphalt roofing, that's all it is. It's just in the shape of a gun.
What?
Literally. So
why would you be shooting? Roofing, why would you be shooting a stream of fire?
Because that's how they melt the asphalt.
I thought they use a blowtorch.
That's what a flamethrower is.
No, these ones that I've seen, it's literally shoots a stream of fire.
Flamethrower are different.
They're completely different.
Well, the one that, if you see my video, you'll see it looks like a gun, but it's a flamethrower. Anyways, it's just a torch.
I have to rewatch those.
Yeah, go rewatch it. You'll see. That is completely legal. And a flamethrower is very, very much different. But we're not hoarding flames around here. But is there any strategies that you have used to try and get away from hoarding? So one thing I've done is I've gone I can't start a new collection. And a lot of people in my want to buy me birthday gifts or whatever, always throughout my life have been buying me collectibles. Whatever it is, like license plates. And I was talking with Atomic Airship Works the other day, and because he just finished, he didn't finish. He's got one more license plate to do to have all of the license plates available in the States. I think he's missing Puerto Rico. And I have all the license plates that are available in Canada. And I just went, I don't think, I've often thought about, getting more. And at a point, people were just buying, because I said, I want to have all the Canadian ones. And then people started buying me, these are a little bit different. These are the blue Ontario ones, and these are the white Ontario ones. And I thought you might like both. And I went, oh, shit, they changed every 5 years. I don't need every single color, right? That's the problem. I don't need everything. I need to really... So to stop my hoarding, I tell people, I don't want to... I appreciate everyone's thoughts on me, in wanting to get it. Same with oil cans. I wanted to start, having a few oil cans, and I went, I don't want to have a collection of oil cans. I want a couple oil cans as a decoration, and that's it. So I got them, and I said, that's enough. Because I don't want to hoard oil cans for no reason. So what do you do to try and stop your hoarding tendencies?
I'm just a little bit confused, and for the other Australian listeners here, collecting license plates, I'm confused. What do
Like
you
the
mean
number
collect
plate?
them all? Like they're Pokemon? Well, I'm confused.
Yeah. So in the States, every state has a different license plate.
Yeah, but like collect them how? Because you don't.
Like you-
So maybe I should explain more. So in Australia, you don't own your number plate or your license plate, right? So you have the one on your car, and that is it. If you don't have another car, you can't get another number plate.
These are like after they've expired, like, or it's transferred ownership or something. Yeah, they're old plates.
Well, it goes with the car.
No, not
so
here.
in the States, it doesn't go in North America, it doesn't go with the car. In most places, it doesn't go with the car.
Well, here it does. They say like the license plate, the number plate is for the car, not the person.
So here we own them differently. You own the car and the number plate. They're separate because you can get a personalized number plate.
Yeah, you can do that here too, but it either stays with the car or you transfer it to your new car.
Right.
But you can't.
So what happens
in hoarding? But you can't own it. Like you can't keep it just at your house.
So what happens if you just have your car and you just don't renew your license plate and then you just like junk your car?
You either have to give it back to them or you tell them that it got stolen. So like I do still have the plates from when I crashed my Ranger.
There you go.
Maybe I threw them out, but I did keep them. But technically, I was supposed to give them back before I was able to register that car again.
Right. So this is where a lot of times, and this is like a similar thing, you're supposed to tell them, and that's just why our number plates used to be like 4 numbers, and then there were 5 numbers, and then there were 6 numbers. Now there's 7 like numbers and letters, alphanumeric.
Yeah.
Right? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger because they don't keep track of it.
But you have to have one per car, right?
Yeah. Well, it's
okay.
2.
Yeah. I always got confused. Yeah. I always got confused because I thought it was like when they say license plate, I assume it's your license, like you put it on the car that you're driving at the time.
Yes.
Okay. Always confused me.
So I have a license, so I own the license plate and the car, and they're registered together. But when I sell the car, I don't sell the license plate with it.
Right. So then when you buy a new car, it will come without a license plate and you transfer yours to it.
You could do that. That's what I do because I don't want to spend more money on. But everyone just seems to buy new license plates because I don't understand why. But it's like a problem because if they buy the dealership doesn't want to deal with transferring. They just buy a new one.
Okay.
Right. But I just transfer I have license plates that have been through like 5 or 6 cars. That's how it works. But other people I know get a new car, get a new license plate, and I'm like, you're an idiot. You're wasting money.
It's just so confusing to me. Because unless it's a personalized plate, it just goes with the vehicle. But anyway, yeah, okay. Back to hoarding.
Hoarding license plates is a thing. And I have, I think I have California, and I think I have a couple other states. I don't want any more. I have Colombia, because I went, where do I stop? I've got all of Canada. Yeah. Where do I stop? Do I stop in all of North America? Okay, now I need some from Mexico and all the different states in Mexico. Oh, and then my brother went to Colombia, and he brought me back a couple plates from Colombia, and I went, fuck, now I have to go the entire world? Where do I stop?
Australia would be good, because there's only 7 states.
Right. So we got 13 different license plates, and then a Canada one, government.
Oh, wait, 8 states. Separate.
Tasmania?
Fuck, I don't know. I don't care either, to be honest.
There you go. Perfect.
So don't tell us, everybody. We're fine.
So my way
we're not talking about that. We're not talking about
my way to cope hoarding is to let my wife help clean my garage.
Perfect.
Because she will throw everything out. Or if I fight her on it, she'll talk me into why I don't need to keep something, and then I agree with her and get rid of it myself. So
I am that person.
It works.
So I appreciate that. So for me, basically before we moved in here, it was if this thing makes it to the point where we are about to move and I have not used it, I have not thought about it, that is going to go before we move. So I always clear out before moves. And from doing that, I have learned the things that I tend to buy and never do anything with. So I have a lot of reasons to not get those things. For me, that is stuff like books, more fabric. I have a ton of fabric, but I used to have a way more, an embarrassing amount of fabric. Now that I've seen
you were
pattern,
your own Joanne's fabric.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, and I was like addicted to the offcut bin. So you can get like fat quarters and like little rolls of fabric for super cheap, like 50 cents a dollar. Yeah. And I was quilting for a while and I did use some of them, but then I just couldn't stop buying it because it's all so pretty. And you just get, it's like the embroidery floss. You get addicted and then you start arranging it by color and it just turns into a thing. So yeah, I tell myself I can't do that anymore and that I only have a limited number of space because I know if things get cluttered or messy, it's way worse than anything else.
So I don't know if you would call this hoarding, but I consider it extremely smart on my wife's part. So we have pretty much like a four door wardrobe, inbuilt wardrobe in our room. One half of it is what she calls her shop. So if she goes like shopping or whatever and sees stuff on like really good clearance, like we got these toy dinosaurs that cost $30. We got them for $5 each. She'll buy like 6 of them. They go in that cupboard. And then if someone's birthday comes up, like my son comes home and he's like, oh, it's my so-and-so's birthday, she just goes and gets stuff out of there. Like, it's so good. It's always stocked up too. But it is a bit of a hoarder because like there is so much shit in there that doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah. So
I love that.
That's wonderful. And we do that with like cards. So we have like all the birthday cards and like anniversary cards and stuff like that. Just like nice to have them like you don't have to go to the store. We got a box full of them, right? Like it's good to do.
That is very thoughtful from both of you. I do not do those things. I don't. Oh, I'm a
one
bad
thing
human.
that I will suggest people, if you have like a lot of clothes like I do, is that you take your hangers and you turn them around and you pick a date. And
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I did
at the end of the date, you look at all of them and you go, everything that hasn't been turned around. Now, this is problematic because I have not worn a button-down shirt and tie since February of 2020. So I don't want to like throw these things out. Like I need to give another year or so before I decide. And I need to lose another 15 pounds before I get back into those ones. But yeah. Anyways, you know what I really like hoarding?
Patreons.
You're right. Oh, you guys are so good. And you know what? I wanted to talk about all the different Patreon supporters this week. But first, I want to especially thank the F-Clamp level, Vincent Ferrari from Digitally Creative, Scott from Data Yourself DIY, Joe Herdina, Rich from Lowen Designs, and David Wood from DW Wood Builds. But I also wanted to talk about the other people that we've been hoarding up because we don't do it often that we talk about the entire cast of Patreon supporters that we have. So I'm going to go through the entire list. And starting at Chris will make Presto's Timber Furniture, Earl III, High Caliber Craftsman Builds, Brad's Customs, Just My DIY, Full Seam Designs, RL Woodworks, Jeremy Speece, Miguel Angel Vivlela, and I'm sorry, I suck at names like that. Keith Rennan from Blackthorn Concepts, Eric from Overall Makerworks, Greg from Platte Valley Woodworks, Griffin Makes, Billy from Polton Projects, Andrew Zito, The Noble Viking, Tony Langer, Mike Tainer, Jacob from Other Dog Designs, Jared Jenkins, Bear Make It, Dean Duplantis, Trip Southern, Jeff Stein, a Weird Guy, Dave Bauer, and Morley Kurt. Thank you to all those people who have been supporting us for a long time. We really appreciate everything you guys do. If you want to join that list of people, which if you talk to Christy Steinman, that might be like a tax write-off for me saying your name. But you can go to patreon.com/clamp. And, once a year at least, I'll say your name for the tax write-off. But you also get access to the pre-show, after-show, as well as the Discord where we host a monthly hangout for Patreons only. The Discord's open for everyone, but the Patreon hangout is, just over for Patreons, obviously. So, yeah, come on over to there and hope to see you there. And now, CLAMPmendations.
Well, my CLAMPmendation for this week is going to be a series by a YouTuber called Chase on Two Wheels. It's called Wrecked Bike Rebuild. So what they do is they buy a wrecked bike with a salvage title. They make a full series on like restoring that bike and modifying that bike. So the one I'm watching now is actually season 3. They're on season 6 now, but season 3 they took a Yamaha V-Star 1300, which is a bit bigger than what I'm looking at getting into, and turned it into a bobber, which I don't want to do. But it's really interesting series, like watching, like he's learning, he's got a guy with him teaching him all about the bike and learning everything. So I'm learning a lot from it. So, but what they do is that it's funded by their Patreon supporters and t-shirt sales, all that sort of stuff. And then at the end of the build, they give it away to one of their Patreon supporters. So essentially by being with Patreon, you're going into the raffle to win the bike.
Nice. I wish that we could fund something really awesome like that. And if you have an idea like that, hit us up.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend everyone check out Digitally Creative. It's a great little podcast by Vincent Ferrari. I have it on good authority that you're going to really like one of the upcoming guests on the show. Yeah. She just has to check her DMs and then she'll know whether or not she's just going to be on the show. But yeah,
thanks,
go check it
Manager
out.
Grant.
Yeah, anytime.
So for me this week, I would like to recommend Jury Duty. I'm a little late to it. I think it was really big in like April, but Tyler and I watched it over the last
It's really big in like
nights.
the 80s.
The 80s? No.
90s maybe?
No, it's the 90s. Jury Duty with like,
90s.
What was that guy's name? Pauly Shore?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was Pauly Shore.
Hey, Jury Duty is such an old show.
Oh, see, this one is new. And it like
they probably just redone it.
So 1995, Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. But it's a reality TV show, and it's the sort of show where everyone is an actor but one person. So they basically hold a completely fake trial, and everyone from the judge to the attorneys to the bailiff to the witnesses to the audience, everybody's an actor. And it's definitely kind of awkward cringe. So if you don't like The Office, I would not recommend this. But if you like The Office, I think one of the folks who worked on The Office also worked on this. So yeah, we really enjoyed it. It was really fun. In the last episode, they do a little bit of a like behind the scenes, how we made this, which was also super interesting just because it's overwhelming, the scale of it. Just everything happening in one courthouse. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So I highly recommend.
Oh, it's a sitcom now. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm so fucking confused.
So is it a sitcom or is it a
It's a sitcom.
TV show?
Yeah.
It says it's a sitcom.
It's sitcom, but it is reality because, all of the actors are basically working from predetermined scripts, but there's also, they never know how the guy's going to react to what they do. So they're always having to sort of stay 2 steps ahead of him or like come up with reasons why they aren't going to court that day. So he's stuck in his hotel room and everybody else is like rehearsing for the next thing they're going to do. Like it's really neat to watch.
Well, I might check that out.
Yeah, it's really short and it's so much fun. I think the episodes are like less than 30 minutes a piece.
Cool. So we've been doing this Ask Us Anything portion, and I was listening to the Work For It podcast, and they basically do a very similar thing, but they take their Ask Us Anything into the after show. And I wondered if anyone thought that was a good idea. If you did think it was a good idea, reach out to us, and we might take the Ask Us Anything into the after show and make the after show and Ask Us Anything. But that's not what we're going to do right now because that's not what we've been talking about. And instead, Jessy's going to take over Ask Us Anything right now.
Oh my God. Okay. So for
practice for Digital Creative.
Oh no. Yeah. Stop saying it. I'm nervous. Okay. So for this week, our question is from Warren Matten. And the question is, what's more important, the blade or the blade holder?
I say the blade.
I say the blade holder.
It depends. See, we could be looking at it completely different ways too. But you say
I'm thinking of it in a kitchen way, where it's like I can sharpen anything to make it work, but I need a good hand.
I'm thinking it of a cheap hand plane versus expensive hand plane. You would never get a cheap hand plane to be sharp enough like an expensive hand plane. Or a decent hand plane, I should say.
Yeah, that's fair. There's definitely some tools where you definitely want the sharpness over anything else.
Yeah, so like if you took the blade out of a decent hand plane and put it in a cheap hand plane body, you could get a decent tool out of that. But
No.
you can't take the blade out. No, but I mean, if you were to flatten the cheap one and everything, but if you were to take the cheap blade,
the point.
I know. But if you were to take the cheap blade and put it in the expensive body, you're not going to have a good tool. So the blade's more important.
I think you're not going to have a good tool either way. And I think that's where, that's why it's an important, it's an interesting question to talk about. So I don't know if you guys have ever watched Days of Thunder. It's like a Tom Cruise movie about NASCAR and racing. Anyways, they take Tom Cruise's character and they put him in a car, and he does an amazing job of this beautifully set up car, and is phenomenal at driving, right? And then they offer him a job, and they give him in this team, this startup team, and he cannot drive the car because it's not set up well. And so this amazing blade, Tom Cruise being the blade, was put into a blade holder that wasn't very good. And I think they both matter. And I think if I think about myself as the blade holder often, if I'm carving something, what's more important? It's I can work with a dull blade or a shitty blade. If I'm good, I can't complain. A poor craftsman blames his tools.
Mm.
I feel like a good blade is worth it for the efficiency. It's worth it for the ability to get it done the best way. But if you are a good craftsman, you can work with anything. Okay. So I think what's more important is the blade holder.
I think it's really funny how we've all thought of this in different ways. Yeah. Because I'm also thinking of the way of, have you gone from the blade that comes with your circular saw to buying a nice expensive blade?
Yep.
Of how much better that blade is.
Right. But
so the blade's more important.
But the poor craftsman blames his blade.
Okay, would you rather cut through leather with a dull blade with a nice handle, or just the little razor, rectangle razors that you get that people use to scrape stuff? Would you rather use a dull blade with a nice handle, or just that little blade that's really sharp?
And you're talking, see, this is the thing, you're talking about blade holder as
I was about to say.
I'm talking about it as I am the blade holder.
The user of the blade.
The user, right. What's more important, the blade or the user of the blade?
See, and I was also thinking handle, because I have had some god awful kitchen knives that are so unergonomic, they just hurt to hold. And so that's why I was immediately
But if it's sharp, then it shouldn't. If it's sharp, you shouldn't really have to hold it that bad.
Well, but the thing is, those...
It should just cut through with ease.
Exactly. So I actually think the blade holder is so much more important, but a good blade can mask a bad tool.
But a bad blade can also make something worse. For instance, a circular saw, a bad blade is going to leave the cut all chipped up, where a good blade is going to leave it nice and smooth.
I get what you're saying. I'm saying that a good blade in a bad saw is not as is going to mask the fact that it's a bad saw.
Right, Jesse, when you do the reels when you give me the times for reels this week, this needs to be a reel, because I want to see what other people think.
Okay, right. We can do that. Yay, I only have to come up with 2.
I want to thank TF Turning for the theme song. I want to let everyone know that if you really enjoyed this show, we'd really appreciate if you could go out and write a review. We haven't asked for them in a while. We'll still read the review on the show if you give us a review, any star rating. We're not like the Working Hands podcast. We'll actually give any star rating a read. We don't just read the 5-star. We'll read the 1-star, the 2-star, the 3-star, and the 4-star. We will appreciate the 5-star. We'll read all of them on the show. So go out there, read it. I look at how many listens we get per week, and I know that we've only gotten less than 10% of listeners have written a review. So really, we really appreciate if you are listening to this and you enjoy the show and you listen every week. We see you. We appreciate you. We'd really love if you go out there and write a review It means a lot to us. It apparently helps out a lot with the podcast algorithms or whatever is going on there.
Especially
so if you could
the
do
Apple Store, the Apple Podcasts app, and then also Spotify is doing reviews as well.
Oh, Spotify doing reviews now? They didn't used to.
Yep, they do now.
Oh, you used to just be able to rate it.
I only know that because I came back after a long time. Or, well, maybe it's just a rating still. Because like a star review is, I don't know, rating review, whatever. Give us 5 stars on Spotify.
If you give us 5 stars, that's great. If you can write some text in there, we will read it. No matter what you write. You can call us all cocksuckers. I don't care. But give us 5 stars. And with that note, we'll see you guys all next week. And we're going to the after show.
Bye.
Bye.